Welcome to the Lazy Bardcast. I'm David Williams, the current Dungeon Master for Season 3 of our ongoing campaign. And tonight, in Hell, maybe we go find some Titans. Who knows?
My name's Orion Goodbarrel. My name is Josh Yarnell. I play the halfling bard Orion Goodbarrel. One of his favorite childhood storybook character heroes is that of Hercules. So he is stoked to go chase some giants in hell.
My name's Jean-Luc Jacques. I play Maven the Monolith Smolderbeard, a level 11 Dwarven Tempest Cleric, Worshipper Accord, Hunter of Pirates, and Slayer of Titans, soon to come.
I'm Kyle Dell, and I'm playing Captain Korek, the Undying Messiah. And fun fact about me is that Hercules was based off of me.
Oh, snap. Didn't know that.
My name's Kyle Paquin. I'm playing Talgroth, the Dwarf Paladin. Talgroth is really happy that this 10th Circle of Hell is not just straight flames.
If you like what you hear, be sure to look us up at the Lazy Bardcast, where things are found. For all other things lazy, check out www.lazybardcast.com, where you can find links to our episodes, player backstories, Patreon rewards, and more.
Previously on the Lazy Bardcast.
After finding yourselves within this newly forming circle of hell, you made your way in the direction of a small campsite after seeing a strange creature in the brush behind you following the moonlight, or the lack of moonlight, rather. Arriving, you found a small Verdan by the name of San. She explained a rough outline of what's happening. Something's going on with that which endures, the Verdan Mother, which lies within Yggdrasil, the large world tree that all of you could see standing probably 1,000 feet tall, maybe taller. By use of Maven's Daylight spell, made your way to the Final Solace. There you met a few Verdan figures who introduced you to town, gave you a little bit more information, told you that League Scout, or the head of the scouts, would be returning hopefully by morning. And then you were introduced to an older goblin gypsy type character, Stish, who after exchanging some goods, some coin, it was brought to all of your attention that this is Ook's mother. And this is where we pick up, standing in front of Stish's stall.
Well, don't talk about Ook. I don't want to hear about him.
Not this feller again.
Okay, well, fine. But, if you want to read about him, there's a lot in this here book.
No, I've already got my own copy. Thank you, though.
Man.
He's got your book.
I have Ook's book. It's my son.
I hope there's nothing new in it. I thought I
book.
took care of it.
Ook's book.
Ook's book.
Ook's book.
It's way funnier than it should be.
He's just seething now.
Korvac, don't you still have that feller?
No, I don't have him.
Why would you? There's no reason for you to have my son. He's off in some mine being the wackiest wizard he can.
What about Ook or the other Ook? Is it just one of them? Was it a coincidence there was two?
She looks around, confused at everybody, and
What?
Did you just call him a wizard?
You know, like Ook and Spook.
I forgot about that, son. There's so many of them, it's hard to keep track. I marked most of them with a symbol on their back, but, they get old and they put on clothes and then you forget which one's which.
I don't think we'll ever forget Ook.
Did you call him a wizard?
Well, he calls himself a wizard.
I think he probably calls himself a lot of things. Mischievous is probably the most accurate one.
Look, my son, he calls himself the wackiest of wizards, but he's hardly a spellcaster. Though he certainly tries, but he's very entrepreneurial in his endeavors. But enough about my son. Why are we talking about my son?
No reason. I've been hearing a little bit about around town about this guy who came in and he had a really cool looking shield and probably went somewhere and caused some shenanigans.
Yeah, he bought a sword from me.
Oh, wow, okay.
Well, actually, it's one weird that my son keeps coming up. It's one that he supplied me.
Well, that really doesn't surprise me, actually. But just wondering where the feller went. I heard he went to some sort of the big tree.
Yeah, I think he headed there, probably. I'm not sure. I don't really keep tabs on people around here. It's my job to collect things and sell the things that I collect.
Well, I know, but,
Is that the answer you were looking for?
Thanks. Anyway, I guess.
Yeah, if you want to know more, I'd check with Kevlim. She knows most of the things in town. And League, if he ever comes back, he's kind of the scout. He always knows things.
Oh, sure. Oh, okay. Well, thanks.
Sure, do you need anything?
No, I'm okay.
All right, then leave.
So you're standing in the courtyard, looking around. Kevlim had told you that League would be returning hopefully by morning, and that he's kind of the head of the scouts, the one that keeps tabs on the Titans as best he can.
So are we going after Titans now?
That sounds so cool.
I'm sure the shield is attracted to power, so wherever the Titans go, I'm sure that's where the shield went to. Well, I suppose we'll wait for this scout to come back, and then we'll see.
Kevlim approaches you all as
He's back.
you're waiting. Kevlim is the Verdan who,
He's the armored.
yeah, she is the quartermaster of this town, kind of had the most information. Well, I hope you were able to discover something through Stish, maybe, or find what you were looking for, at the least.
Sort of.
Yeah, I got some jade dust.
Wonderful. Well, as I said, League will be here at nightfall as soon as the moon rises, so if you'd like to wait until then or forge your own path, she motions to you, Korvac. We're kind of all taking your lead here.
Where can I get a drink?
Here, she motions around and not really able to do that at the moment.
Not really able to do. What? Can't get a drink around here.
In the center of the keep, you can see the ruined keep that once was. On the exterior of the courtyard, you can make out half-ruined merchant shops, most that are closed and a few that are open.
So I guess we're just waiting to see if we're going to find a Titan.
It would be good. I don't know if I asked this earlier, but did you happen to know where the guy with the fancy shield went?
Well, I believe he headed towards Yggdrasil.
Oh, right. Yeah, you said that.
There's a surrounding body, a city of Verdan, as it were. We haven't been in contact with them for quite some time. The forest, it's changing.
What, there's another city of us down here?
Yeah, are they bigger than this one? Or smaller?
There were a number of outposts throughout. We lived in small communities, but there were some that were more directed towards that witch indoors, that lived closer to the tree, closer to be able to bring it gifts, hear from it, speak with her.
So what prevents you guys from just going there?
Well, between the jackals, the titans, and you'll find that if you venture into the forest, things change. You get lost. League is one of the only scouts we have that's able to move through it. I'm not sure how. He just seems to have a natural ability to move through.
Oh, well, I don't get lost. But why don't you go to Stish and have a whip up some of these rocks, and then you're all good to go. Bing, bada, boom.
We can. Stish is rather, what's the word I'm looking for?
Abrasive.
Wacky.
Abrasive,
Crazy.
wacky, yes. Each stone,
Forgetful of her own son.
these small
Good looking.
stones, the smaller stones that our scouts use, they cost about 1,000 gold and crushed diamond per stone, and they take about 3 days to form each.
So where do you normally get this gold and crushed diamond when you need to make them?
Well, we used most of our wealth. She motions towards the keep to get what we could.
Do we know how long it's going to be until...
Well, it will be at nightfall when the moon comes. I would guess we have a few hours remaining, but if you'd all like to rest up, it's going to be a journey into the woods.
Oh,
I mean, I'm not opposed
Sure.
to it.
Well, shall I take you to your...
Lead the way.
She leads you to the center crumbled keep, and it definitely protects you from the wind, any rain that would occur. And she rolls out some bedrolls for all of you.
Thank you kindly, Smee. Kevlin.
It's my pleasure. Let me or any of the other Verdan know if we can be of assistance. We're more than happy to help.
All right. Well, I think for now we are going to regroup ourselves and get ready to defeat a Titan
yeah, and find the shield.
Huzzah!
Finally.
and find the shield.
And
Finally.
Kevlin turns as you're saying this, Korvac, and makes her way out, leaving you all alone.
Hey, Korvac, I had this idea the other night.
Uh-oh.
Do you like your peg leg thing that you got going on?
Do I like my peg leg thing that I've got going on?
Because I was thinking about I can probably put some kind of illusory magic on it that when you wanted to for, a certain amount of time at will, you can just make it look like your old regular leg. But it wouldn't be, it would just look like it.
Not that I particularly love my peg leg situation.
He said it, you guys. Progress.
The first step is acceptance.
I mean, we got some time to, will it hurt?
No.
Will it take long?
No. I'll pull out my brand new bag of little jade dust, and I'm just gonna dip my fingertips in it, and I'm gonna say, bippity boppity boo, give this man leg number 2. And then I'll flick some little sparkly jade dust at you, and I'll cast Programmed Illusion. And so at will, you can activate that illusion to display your old leg, and then there's a 5-minute cooldown afterward, and then you can do it again.
So 5-minute intervals of leg, 5-minute intervals of peg.
Yeah, so I don't know, if you're for 5 minutes I need to be sneaky, I can turn this leg on, you can do that. And then there's
Is the leg gonna help me be sneaky?
No, if someone's I'm looking for a man with a peg leg, and you're like, no peg leg here, look, there's an illusion of man with 2 legs for 5 minutes. Anyway.
I'm just a regular guy with 2 legs.
I almost wish you did the other leg a peg.
The spell's called Programmed Illusion. It lasts until dispelled, so that just is there. And that's what I took for my 6th level spell slot.
Nice. Excellent.
Maven's going to walk over to the corner, and he's going to sit down and take out his platinum spyglass. Maven's going to actually cast Sending to Tithir then.
Okay. So you cast Sending, you extend your mind out, and you feel a connection on the other side.
Hey, it's Maven. Wondering what the update is with you guys and if you're safe. Have you gotten the ship back? How are the mage hunters acting?
Maven, you're safe. That's good news.
Little does he know we're in hell.
Braggon's betrayed us. We're captives. Stores, I think he's joined them.
Where are you being held? We'll take care of this as soon as we're back from hell.
Aboard an airship, Visna is here, heading towards the storm.
Maven will just spend some time and pray to Cord and then also take a rest.
Okay.
So are we not gonna talk about how that was Ook's mom? This is pretty weird, right?
I mean, what is it to talk about?
I mean, it sort of made sense. Well, didn't you stuff him in your bag or something? I mean,
I didn't stuff him in my bag.
well, his,
About that,
Is what?
you correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know paladins as well as you, but as a divine worshiper over here, every time someone says phylactery, I feel like there's a reaction to destroy it. You tell me if that's also the same feeling with you.
well, yeah, it doesn't sit well with me. Especially because, I mean, that little feller's just full of mischief. I feel if you ever let him out of there, he's just going to cause a whole bunch of problems.
Besides that, even if he was good now, he has the power to become very evil.
So you guys don't like that I have control of this mischievous little thing?
Oh, I don't care.
Well, I mean, we trust you, Korvac. I mean, you're the captain. But
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
it's sort of unsettling, He already robbed you blind, and then...
What is he gonna do, come out of this into a pocket dimension where he can't breathe?
Look, one thing already came back to life and killed you.
I killed him back. It only cost me a single leg,
Well,
which I will also get back.
you only have another leg, though.
Show off your party trick.
I think we should just destroy it.
I mean, we don't have to do it right now, but
I think we should.
eventually...
I don't know if we've got anything to worry about while it's inside of a pocket dimension where it can't breathe.
I don't know a whole
Obviously,
lot about
he
that.
keeps coming out.
He is inside of my bag of holding.
Yeah, I guess that's true, right? I mean, I can't really get out of there unless he takes him out.
This is his own hell, his own perpetual loop of come back and then die of suffocation.
I think that's a bad
and
move.
then come back
Dang,
and
that's
die
dark.
of suffocation.
Yeah, unless he has one of those other gold coins again that he used to teleport last time. That would be unfortunate.
Why do you want him?
Crap.
It's not that I want him. It's what I want, what he has.
What does he have?
My leg!
I'll give you a new damn leg.
It's not the same, Maven. What if I took your leg and then said, here's a different leg?
I'd regrow
It's
it back.
pretty much not a monolith leg. You can grow them back.
Like a lizard.
Why is mine not grown back?
I just, as we all know, he's pretty slippery.
He is.
And
But
he's
I've
gotten away from us like 3 times.
Yeah, slipperier than the mines of Grunfall.
I don't know. He's from a clan. I don't know.
Must be icy.
A
It
known
must be a dwarf
moist
thing.
Very mossy.
So you all bed down for the day, evening, the dark day, until the night. You get a long rest.
The daytime of the night.
Until moon comes out in the morning.
You all get a long rest and are awoken by slight light outside. Not daylight by any means, but a lot more than was out there the previous night, just torchlight. And the moonlight illuminating the surrounding area. You step out and everybody has since dispersed, gone and bedded down in whatever shacks that they have. And you see Kevlim walking across the courtyard, kind of pacing back and forth, looking in the direction of the western road out of this small haven, just kind of pacing, looking at the forest, looking back in the direction of the crumbled keep, and she sees all of you wake up and gives you a nod, and just is looking very anxious.
Is he supposed to be back by now, Kevlin?
Yeah, they are.
Well, I guess we go find him.
I guess. Would you mind if I came with? I can guide you as best I can.
Sure. What do you think, Captain?
Lead the way.
We'll need to head west into the shambling wood. There's a small outpost there. Hopefully it's still standing. It's where League and the rest of the scouts, it's where they usually make camp if they need to stay overnight.
We better get on then. If he's late, not a good sign.
We should use as much of the moonlight as we can as well.
Yup.
I've already spoken to San. I took some of her stones so that we could set up encampment if need be.
Is this an area where we're gonna expect one of those titans?
He's in the shambling wood, but the shambling wood is an incredibly large area, and it would be easy to avoid him if we wished.
Okay.
I've not myself ventured to this outpost since all this happened, so, well, just bear with me, yeah?
I'm ready.
Ready?
All right. She looks out to the road and starts walking past the large stones that protect the small keep here. As you begin walking, the tree cover begins to rapidly get thicker, though it's still bright enough that you're able to make out the road. But what you are noticing is that across these dirt roads, there's long vines growing across them. It's pretty quickly being swallowed up by the forest, not being used every day. These thick, brownish green vines that grow everywhere. And you all continue on for about 2 hours into the day, through this forest into thicker and thicker wood, before you can just make out, Maven, you can just make out on the edge of your hearing someone yelling. It's faint at first, but you start getting the sound of a cry for help as you're listening closer and closer.
I hear something that way. Someone yelling.
Let's go.
So standing from the road, honing in on this cry for help and looking between the branches, you can see a small shack that is completely overwhelmed by vines. They've just grown up the sides of this. And there appears to be a small hearth burning inside, smoke coming from the top of the chimney. And that definitely appears to be where this cry for help is coming from, is this house about 30 yards into the wood. No path headed in its direction.
It's coming from there. Let's go.
The house.
Yep.
Let's get
The
it.
house is crying for help.
Yep. Let's go.
And as Maven, as you pointed out, and all of you are now standing, listening, you can hear the cries for help as well. And Kevlim, she says, "That's League, let's go." And she takes off and starts running in the direction of the house. You guys follow, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, you close the gap to the house pretty quickly, and in front of it, you can immediately see that there was a scuffle of sorts. A little bit of blood on the ground outside of the house, drag marks all in the dirt, and a scattering of pieces of clothing. Looks like someone was dragged inside the house, and you can now hear the yells for help deep inside the house. As you look inside the very dark entryway within, the vines have not only fully encompassed the exterior of this 2-story home, it's also broken through the windows, crawled across the furniture, all across the floor. All these vines with these deep red flowering bulbs.
Do we see anyone in the house?
You don't immediately. You can hear the yelling for help now very loud to all of you as you're standing in the entryway to this door looking at the obvious scuffle that happened outside.
And have these vines like grown over like the entrance to the house, like the door to like keep it shut?
No, not to keep it shut by any means. It's open. The vines are growing through the entryway, kind of crawling around the edges of the door frame, around the edges of the windows, across the seating areas, dining tables. Every inch of the house is covered in these vines. And Maven, with your passive perception, you do notice as you're standing in the doorway, the vines almost slowly moving in your directions.
I'm gonna
As if they're alive.
Sacred flame one of them.
Okay. Yeah, you sacred flame the vine. It pulls back and reels backwards, almost like burns up. And it stays there permanently. As some of the bulbs in the nearby vicinity, the red, they open up, and inside you can see all these yellow spores that start to float into the air.
I'm gonna cover my mouth and back up, and is there another door in there or just one door?
It looks like there's a door in the back of the house, but it's closed. You could definitely like make your way around though, if you would like.
I'm gonna cast Gust of Wind on it.
Ooh, okay. You cast Gust of Wind at the entrance to the house, and immediately all these yellow spores that are in the air, they get whipped through the house and through the broken windows on the other side, which it lasts for
1 minute.
1 minute, yeah. So it starts blowing through the house, all the spores just being ripped across straight off the floor where they're being emanated from and just pulled up the wall out the windows on the other side of the house.
While it's going, if I see any other vines, I'm gonna Sacred Flame those too, so it gets it in one.
Okay,
go.
yeah, there's vines everywhere inside of this house, but you start Sacred Flaming them out of the way. And as you're Sacred Flaming them, the cries for help, it gets almost distorted, and it's hard to hear what exactly is making the sound at this point. As the vines pull away, you can see like streaks where nails have been drug across the floor as someone or something was drugged through this house and deeper inside.
Do you see anybody, Maven?
I don't see anybody, but I see claw marks.
If we're gonna make our way inside, we should go now while your wind's blowing.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, you head inside, and following the sound of the strange cry for help, you just break down the hallway, go up the stairs, and following this now sound without an impediment of any of these spores and the vines being sacred flamed away from the floor, you get to the top of the staircase and can see plastered against the wall is 3 Verdan, all held to the wall by these vines. You can see that the vines are growing in and out of their bodies as they're pinned to the walls. The center one is obviously still alive as he's looking up very disoriented, and Kevlam runs up and League starts trying to kind of cut away the vines that are holding him up. The other 2 are very obviously dead.
I'm going to grab my glaive and transform it into the long sword and help cut.
Yeah, and as you're cutting, you see these bulbs that were opening up, releasing these spores. They're now almost like quivering and making these sounds that sounds almost like a human voice yelling for help as they're vibrating, but as they're getting cut and burned away, it's turning into like screeching sounds as they're pulling back away from the body.
It's jacked up. I'm gonna start Sacred Flaming and helping him too.
Yeah, you do so, and easily enough you're able to get him off of the wall, but he is very hurt, barely conscious, and he still has a number of vines just woven inside of his skin.
Maven's gonna run up and cast Cure Wounds on him.
Okay.
It's gonna be 7.
Yeah, you cast Cure Wounds on League, and he looks a little bit more there. Thanks. He makes eye contact with you, Korvac, and sees what it is that you're holding, and you can tell that there's that same kind of recognition in his face, but it's definitely not what he's focusing on in the moment. We have to get out.
Working on it.
Yeah, and you finish cutting him down. He sloughs off the wall onto the floor, and just run with me, please. Get out of this house.
I'm gonna cast my illusions kind of in a line in the path that we're going and then shatter them progressively to kind of just keep a path going.
Okay. Yeah, you do so, and the vines that aren't being sacred flamed aren't being cut away. They're being pushed back by your illusions exploding and the constant damaging force of that. Carving a path through this house for all of you. That was way easier than I expected it to be.
For a second, I thought it was psychic damage. I was
Good
like, I
job
don't
being
think I'm gonna
creative.
psychic damage a vine, but it's force, so.
But you all make your way out of the house, away from this screeching sound, away from the grasping vines, the pollen in the air, just in time for Maven, your gust of wind to fade as the vines begin regrowing over the floor as you're standing away from the house now and begin re-consuming the house.
As they're screeching, I'm just like, oh, give it up already.
I would like to pull off a bead from my necklace of fireballs and just kind of huck it at the mass of the house.
Okay. Yeah, roll fireball damage.
24 fire damage.
Yeah, you huck this small bead, you pull it from your necklace, and it starts shining bright orange, and as you focus on the point and release it, it flies into that direction before contacting the floor inside the house, and then just exploding outwards. The top of the building crumbles down. A lot of the vines light in the nearby vicinity. The screeching is now horrendously loud as this creature, this thing, whatever it is, its home is just completely decimated.
Wow, I never seen a fireball before, you guys. That was crazy.
That was awesome.
As it's exploding too, I'm actually going to use control flames to just like get it in the just
Oh, you do
nice.
so.
every direction it needs to bring the whole thing
Yeah,
down.
any little piece of vine that got blown away from the house and started kind of surging across the forest floor, you use control flames to direct more of the embers into its direction, just to help consume the last of the vines as the screaming kind of subsides.
It's got to be thorough.
League leaned on you, Korvac. Thanks. I didn't expect to see you here.
I didn't expect to see me here either.
Well, it's kind of perfect timing. I don't have long.
You don't have long.
Are you gonna die?
He motions to himself, and I've never seen someone survive this. And looking at him, you can see the vines not only beneath his skin, but as he kind of focuses on points and flexes his muscles, you can see the vines crawl and dart away to hide.
Is it a disease? What is it?
Parasite? I'm not sure.
You've seen this happen before.
It's what the Primeval does. The Titan in the shambling wood.
That's gross.
Look, I have this moon cycle. The Titan's minions, they at least won't be expecting me. They'll sense me as one of their own. Perhaps we could set a trap? If you're looking to strike down a Titan.
Yeah, we should kill a Titan.
Are we close to it? Was this like a little nest or something?
Ish, this is far from a nest. It would not even come close to encompassing this Titan.
And you're okay with being like a martyr, I suppose?
It's this or, well, I ask that if you're not going after the Titan, then if you put me out, I don't wish to be turned into one of these things.
Yeah, it sounds gross, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll kill you if you want.
I'll do it.
He gives you a kind of a sideways glance, and
Do we have to kill the Titan? Is there another way to deal
I'm
with
not
it?
sure. Kevlam, have you filled them in? Has she filled you in?
They said something, or maybe she said something about like there were items inside the Titan's body that we had to like retrieve or something. So it sounds like we either get it from him or we kill him.
As best we can decipher, yes, they've taken something from the world tree, and that's what's causing this infection, this whatever you want to call it.
Well, either way, we need to get towards the tree. And if the Titan's in the way, the Titan's got to come down.
The Titan's the opposite direction of the tree. Currently, it's further west. The tree is north, and he motions in the direction of it. And you can see it peeking over the canopy of everything. But if you're able to save the Titans and just get what you need, that would serve the Verdan.
So what's your plan for a trap? Do you have one?
And do you think if we kill this Titan, your little viney thing would go away?
Perhaps I hadn't thought that far.
Well, if we act fast, maybe we can save League from turning into a dead thing.
Do we know what's inside of him, specifically?
Like which item?
Like
It's
what we're looking
you
for.
can see it. The Primevals is on his back. It's a small blue shard.
Blue
It's
flower, red
unmistakable.
thorns.
What?
Sorry. Blue flower, red thorns. Blue.
A small blue shard. It seems to absorb the moonlight.
All right. I've got an idea. And if Maven, you will help me, you can have this right now. And I'll give you the phylactery.
Okay.
Do you reach into your bag of holding?
Yeah.
Okay, you reach into your bag of holding, and what do you think of?
Ook's phylactery.
Okay. You feel a pile of ash, shards of ceramic in your hand as you reach in and feel around. And you pull out your hand and you see a shard of Ook's phylactery, a lot of ash in your hand.
Yeah, that's what I hand as I'm not thinking about that. I'm like, you can have this right. Oh, well, that's done.
Case closed. What were you going to say?
I'll dust the ash off my hand and close my bag up. We should try to set up a trap. I might have a way to contain this Titan momentarily, so we might be able to pop the thing off his back.
I could like teleport myself and someone up to his back too, maybe, and like we can work from up there.
I also got a spell that might be able to trap him a little bit.
I could keep him calm, but we can't attack him while I do it.
Mine might be better than I can trap him in a magic circle.
How big?
Pretty big, actually.
Okay.
Um,
Because they said the Titans were like 100 or so feet tall, if not more.
well, if he fits in a 10-foot radius,
His big toe.
The Primeval stands about 80 feet.
Do you know what they don't like?
I'm unsure. He's mostly, it seems, plant-based, but he's also undead.
He's
Gotcha.
vegan.
Yeah.
Look, there's more than just the Primeval. He's surrounded by his infected. There's also the jackals that watch
Is it
over
like a hive
him.
mind?
I'm not sure. It seems like it. They respond like the ones in the building.
They're very
but
coordinated.
There's also jackals that surround him.
Well, we know they don't like light also. So if we can just distract them, pull the crystal, and then if we get that, we can just shine some light.
I don't see how this is gonna help.
We don't need your pessimism right now.
And even if the light doesn't scare them, if that crystal gives us the Titan back, he's going to start whooping some ass.
We can have a Titan on our side.
Oh,
We can save my
all right.
people.
And then we can
most
get the
importantly,
shield.
We can have a Titan help us get the shield.
Yep.
Cater to your audience,
How
people.
big is that crystal?
4 pieces fit in your hand.
Now, do we want to keep these blue shards intact, or are we trying to destroy them?
They're far from shards. They're more of a heart of sorts.
Do we want to crush this heart, or keep it pumping?
No, restore it. Bring it to that which endures and hopefully bring life back to Yggdrasil.
Perfect. Important distinction.
So that goes. Oh, so that goes to the tree. In the
Yes.
tree. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yes.
So we do not want to
Destroy.
destroy it. We want it intact. Well, he goes nothing.
So almost in a call and response as you say, well, Korvac, the ground in front of you, you can see it almost like moving. And at first it looks like the entire ground is moving towards all of you. But you realize that it's scattering insects, rats, rodents, all running away from something. League, seeing it coming, best to get out of their way. Just get up in a tree quickly. He turns and starts running in the direction of a tree to get up. There's trees everywhere around you. It's easy enough.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
And you do so. In the far distance, you can hear the familiar thundering cracking of trees. Just very, very distant. This thing is very far off. Imagine it's moving in your-ish direction. League says usually patrols up this way. First thing in the day.
How tall are these trees?
They vary from 30 to 50 feet. Whatever we should do quick. The jackals will be the first to come before the infected.
I'm gonna climb the taller of the tree that I can, just to increase my chances of being as close as I can to the head.
Okay. Yeah, it's easy enough to kind of pick out a taller tree. This is a very jungly kind of area. So the canopy's fairly thick, but you spot a tall tree and you start climbing up it, Korvac. If you want to make an athletics check.
I'll kind of take my time and be a little careful about it.
Sure.
22.
Korvac, as you get to the top, in the distance, you imagine about a half mile, 3/4 miles out, you can see sticking up above the trees a helmet of an ancient creature. He has a long gray beard down the front, a large red streak of war paint down the side of his face, and 2 large horns sticking out from the helmet. His jaw is open very loosely and slacked to the side as he shambles his way through the forest, and as with every step that he takes, these long pauses between the steps, you can see the trees just shake and some of them just fall off to the side as he makes contact with them. Maven, with your passive perception, so it's always just gonna be you. With your passive perception, you can hear in the distance the sound of very quickly approaching large animals, and it just takes you a split second to put together that this is probably the jackals.
Okay, I'll say, hey, they're coming.
I'm in a tree, so
League, who is a little bit up in a tree, says, climb higher, climb higher.
I'm going to take a potion of climbing because I have that.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Look at that. Yeah,
And
nice.
I'm also going to cast, when it comes closer, protection from good and evil on
Okay.
myself.
How long does the potion of climbing
1 hour.
last for? 1 hour. Cool. And that just lets you
He's about
climb with
59
your
minutes
movement
away.
speed.
And I get advantage on athletics for climbing.
Cool. So everybody make an athletic check to climb their tree.
I'd like to
Except
pick
for
the same
Korvac.
tree as Korvac. 18.
Okay.
22.
25.
Okay. So you all begin climbing, no problem. However, you do see at the very bottom, struggling to get up, is League, who is struggling to get any higher, and Kevlim, who is trying to pull him up, as League is barely kind of moving at this point.
How far down?
They're about 6 feet off the ground, just kind of on the first level of branches, and they're trying to make their way up.
From us, how far down?
As far as you'd like them to be. Just with your climbing check, as you start climbing, you look down.
If I have time, I'm going to just start moving down really fast and grab him and put him on my shoulders and start climbing up.
Okay, put League on your shoulders? Yeah, you get down. I'm going to say make an initiative check.
Ooh, 17. Pretty good.
Okay, cool.
Normally.
Yeah, you get down to the bottom, and without much issue, League is a small man, especially with the potion of climbing. You throw him under your shoulder, and you just start making it up this tree. And now, without League on her shoulders, or trying to be pulled up, Kevlim is also able to make it up, though slowly, high enough that she feels safe kind of stopping. And as you get to the top, League says, thanks, Maven. Everybody just be quiet. So all of you sitting there very quietly as these jackals begin sprinting underneath the trees, not paying any attention to what's above. One of them gets to the bottom of one of the trees and starts kind of sniffing at the ground, sniffing around, and walks over in the direction of the small house you're all nearby and starts sniffing all the burned rubble. And he kicks his head to the side, and another jackal comes over and starts sniffing the rubble with him. And they look at each other and kind of bump into each other. And then they start turning to run away. Right as they do this, though, you hear a snapping sound as the branch Kevlim is standing on snaps out from under her, and she begins plummeting pretty much right above these 2 jackals.
Can one of us reactionarily grab?
You have a reaction if you're up in the tree.
Can I have someone else on me.
You're up in the tree. I assume you went up pretty high. I did specifically state she made it up just to where she was comfortable getting.
I'm going to cast Minor Illusion
Okay.
to attempt to mask the sounds as a roaring, like a lion, like a bigger animal.
Okay. Make a performance check.
Time. A natural 20 for 29.
Against my natural 1. Oh, look at that. So, Korvac, in a split second, you create this sound of a roaring lion in the direction of this kind of stampeding herd that's now thinning out significantly of these jackals. And these 2 jackals, right as the branch snaps, as Kevlim is falling, the minute she collides with the ground, over the roar of the lion, you do hear a snapping as she collides with the ground. You imagine it was probably her leg. As she's holding it and managing to hold in a scream as she's holding onto her leg, the 2 jackals take off in the direction of the lion sound and go running with the rest of the jackals further away.
I'm going to tell League, I'm going to be like, take a branch.
He sloughs off and he grabs onto one. Up here it is pretty The trees are kind of waving side to side. It's calm weather, but you're still high up in a tree. You're moving a little bit, but it's not bad.
I'm gonna slide down again and grab her.
Okay. Yeah, you start making your way down quickly, and what you notice, Maven, is in the branches in front of you. Make a perception check with disadvantage.
23.
23. Okay. Yeah, as you reach the ground, Maven, and looking around, this stampede of jackals has passed you, now leaving just in their wake all manners of footprints from these creatures. But what you can see coming now is whipping vines. They go from tree to tree and they encompass the tree before almost like slowly crushing it, and then reaching out another strand streaks out in front of it and continues growing. And it's snapping some of the branches on the tree, goes some halfway, 3/4 up. They ride about 40 feet along the tree line as all these vines are just whipping throughout the forest, but they're very similar to the ones that you saw in the house. The thundering crashing of this titan in the distance is getting louder. Korvac on lookout. He's probably made it another quarter mile or so.
Everyone's in the same tree, right?
I think Orion and Korvac went up one, and the rest of you are in.
But this thing's coming our way, and it's gonna take these trees.
It's coming in your general direction. It's definitely not like coming towards you, but this swarm, you imagine it's happening throughout the forest. It's almost in like a half cylinder or half sphere in front of this creature as it's moving. Just the forest itself is running away from this creature. So Maven, you get to the floor, you grab Kevlin.
Is there a way to circle around the giant so we're out of his
Possibly.
area, or does this take over this whole?
Possibly you could try. I mean, from where you can see, it's like a sweeping pattern out from where this giant is walking. But you imagine probably if you got far enough, you might be able to.
I'm gonna say to Kevlin, be like, it's coming this way. We need to move out of its way.
I can't walk. My leg. And looking at her as you're picking her up, she definitely has a broken leg.
All right.
Looking at the vines, Maven, you imagine you have about 30 seconds before they make it.
I'm gonna
to you.
start running out of its direction.
Do you want to try to run like diagonally away to try and kind of sweep around this area, or
So if it's
just
coming,
run away?
if it's coming like this way towards us, I want to run around, put Kevlin down, and then circle back behind it and start coming up behind it.
Yeah, you can definitely start that process of running far away. You imagine it's going to take you a while. It's pretty much as far as you can see, which isn't that far in the forest, but you'd also have to go off the path. It's up to you.
I mean, yeah, Kevlin's gonna die if I don't.
Sure.
So I'm gonna start moving out of the way and just like dashing. And as soon as I feel like she's just out, I'm gonna drop her and I'm gonna be just like, League, it's coming this way. You need to drop. It's taking down the trees.
Yeah, so you say that to League, and then you take off and you start running.
Yeah.
The rest of you hear Maven say that, and he picks up Kevlim and he starts booking it, running alongside this swarm that's coming from the center point of this titan. You're all up in the trees, about 40, 50-ish feet or so.
Is the like vines and stuff like that, is that really close to the titan? Like it's very closely in front? Or is it like quite a ways?
It seems quite a ways away. You don't know how thick they run, but
Okay.
Korvac can convey the titan is about half a mile out right now, and these vines are closing in within less than 30 seconds at this point.
Okay,
So
I'm just gonna tighten
it's a
up and
ways.
hold on to my clan symbol.
I would like to pull out my loot while I'm kind of like holding on with one hand up in the tree, and I want to flick one of the harmonics on it, and as it rings out, I want to cast the Protection of Evil, the sphere form that radiates from my loot.
Okay, cool.
And
Yeah,
that's a 20-foot sphere.
yeah. You do so, and yourself and Korvac are definitely within that sphere. Maven, as you're running through the forest, make a perception check for me with disadvantage, because you're running through a dark forest off a path.
With a dude on you.
Yeah.
It's a chick.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone keeps saying that.
She looks like, we don't know.
She looks like what?
She's a Verdan. We've only seen
21.
21, okay. So as the vines are getting closer and closer, Maven, running full tilt, these vines are starting to catch up, and you're starting to get to the point where you're having to cut off to the side when you see a small patch underneath one tree. It looks like a small hill where the tree is kind of pulled up to the side and is leaning against another tree. There's almost like a covering of roots
like the
where
Lord
you
of the
imagine you
Rings.
could kind of try and hole up in.
How much farther do I feel like I'd have to run to stay out of it?
You imagine you would have to start cutting it kind of directly away from these vines in the direction of the running jackals, which you know are up ahead of you. You're unsure how far.
I'll stay here then.
All right, so yeah, you dive into this small hole right as these vines make it to the tree, and these vines, you feel them as they're getting closer and closer. The impacts of the trees, you feel it rumbling through the ground, through the root structure, and as they hit the tree that's supporting this kind of hiding hole for you and Kevlin, the whole tree for a second begins to kind of rock to the side before settling, as all of these vines, you watch as they go overhead, just spreading forward like these tentacles, grabbing onto the next tree and then pulling themselves forward. And as the vines break through where your tree line is, you're left in this very calm atmosphere that begins to get rapidly more humid as you're inside of this Titan's moving lair. The rest of you, a very similar thing is experienced, though slightly below you, as these vines are whipping underneath. You're all holding on desperately to these trees, as when they're impacted by these vines, you're kind of whipped to the side for a moment, but you're able to hold on before you're met with this humid stench, this rotting stench. And each of you can hear the vague sound of like shambling feet on undergrowth as this encompassing vines, they make their way further and further away from you. While standing in place, you're getting deeper and deeper within this thing's lair.
So do I feel like Kevlin's safe here right now?
Yeah, I mean, there's none of these whipping vines. You don't see any jackals, but as you hear the faint kind of shambling sounds looking up over the edge of this root structure, you can just make out walking between, just stumbling, these obviously undead figures, but wrapped all throughout their bodies are these vines. You imagine what League fears he'll turn into, what he called the infected.
How many are there?
There's dozens and dozens scattered throughout in front of you that are just shambling loosely, beginning to head more south.
I want to go as far as it is to a tree that I think is safe and put Kevlin up in that tree.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's trees all around you.
Yeah.
This is a thick forest, so you can just pick one.
I'm going to do one I like almost know will,
Sure.
if he stays on his path, won't hit her.
Looking around, you know the height that these vines came to, so you just find a tree that is significantly higher than kind of height that the vines were traveling through this forest. You climb up that tree, and if you'd like, you can like secure her with rope or something like that.
I'll do that. I'll use my rope and secure her.
Thanks, Maven. I think I owe you my life, and maybe more.
We'll be back for you.
Okay.
And I'll slide down. I'm going to start trying to make my way behind it.
Okay. Yeah, you start that process. The rest of you, the longer you're sitting in here, you're starting to notice these shambling figures on the forest floor beginning to slowly make their way, shambling between the trees. Korvac and Orion, looking at the Titan and looking down at the floor, these figures are definitely mimicking the Titan's directional movement as they begin curving south along with it.
How far away is it right now?
The Titan?
Yeah.
About a third of a mile.
Damn, so it's getting further away from us.
Yeah, has it already turned so that it's getting further?
It's starting to curve south, and it's just obvious. It's kind of at like the precipice of its current trajectory, and it just seems to be turning south. It's meandering through the wood.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast Dancing Lights.
Okay.
In its line of sight. Basically try to like flicker it.
Make a performance check.
15.
As you cast your dancing lights up above the treetops to try and get this thing's attention, you have your giant gold coin in the air and you start kind of spinning it. And as it's spinning, it reflects the moonlight over and over, making this flashing appearance, almost like a strobing light. And as you do so, the Titan does take notice of it. And then you all hear a loud like as it turns and begins making its way a little bit quicker in the direction of the dancing lights. The snapping trees getting louder.
Oh, God.
Maven, you hear the sound of this creature picking up its pace from its shambling to a more hurried approach. And as it does so, all these undead figures shambling through the wood, they begin turning and erratically looking around before picking up their pace in the direction of the Titan, all moving more central towards it.
Say, all right, big boy, let's see what you got. I want to stay within the trees, but I'll start making my way towards him also.
Sure, are you trying to avoid the undead?
Yeah, as of right now I am.
Yeah, if you just want to make a stealth check.
Dirty 20.
Yeah, as you're running through, you do notice a few of these undead creatures. As you're running past them, these familiar red bulbs on their back open up and release these clouds of spores that you're able to avoid as you dart around them. And they are very slow moving, which is kind of the good part here, but you dart around these undead, pushing past them. Think Walking Dead zombies.
I was thinking
very along that
clickers from
Those things are fast, man.
Those things are terrifying. From Last of Us.
from The Last of Us is what I was thinking
The
about.
sound those things makes too. Messed
Okay,
up.
cool. So slower.
Yeah, they're very slow, shambling figures.
Classic zombie.
Very classic zombies. As they do begin picking up the pace as fast as these shambling zombies can in the direction of this creature. Korvac, watching this Titan getting closer and closer, it's beginning to close within probably 1,000 yards or so. And as it is, you can make out all of these vines woven throughout its figure as well. All of these red blooming flowers across its body from head to toe, woven inside of its skin, all these yellow spores following it in a large cloud. As it begins closing within that 1,000 yards, that's where we'll call the session.
Damn it! I knew you were gonna do that.
It's gonna be a huge fight for next time. Tune in next episode as we fight our first Titan in this third season of Verdan's Blight. If you're looking for more content while you wait, head on over to www.lazybardcast.com to check out some past episodes or our one-shot specials. We'll see you next time here on the Lazy Bardcast.
You look over at Orion and see him messing with a very rotted away head.
I'm like squeezing the cheeks and moving the mouth as like they talk to like mime
it's
the
going
conversation.
How far away is he from me?
A few feet.
Too slow.
I'm gonna throw a javelin at it.
Oh god! Wow. Yeah, make an attack roll. Orion, you can make an athletics or acrobatics check to try and get it away.
Can I make instead a performance check because I'm miming with the head?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Like it's part of the act. He's like,
is it like a
"Yo."
puppet?
Yeah. It is now.
It is now. I'll say you can make a performance check, but if he hits, it's gonna go through your hand.
All right. Another natural 20
Wow.
to not have
For like a
Maven.
30 something.
For
performance.
performance, it's a 27 again, actually.
Maven, what's your attack roll?
22.
You throw the javelin and it tung into the wall next to Orion as he moves the head out of the way.
Too slow.
What are you doing?
I was just playing.
Yeah, why are you throwing javelins at people?
Whoa. Well, I'm the weird one
javelin's
here.
the weird thing.
He has a severed head. And he's a 16-year-old boy.
I'm 15.
I mean, he
Sorry.
bought it with his own money.
Am I the only one that finds that weird?
No, that's definitely weird. I don't
What
want
if
that
some
thing.
15-year-old boy was doing that with your leg?
I would kill the boy.
I'm
Wow,
glad
this
we're
is
all,
getting dark.
I'm glad we're all on the same page.
Everyone's just fine with that.
I
Yeah.
don't want it.
I'm
Why do you
totally
have
fine.
it?
I don't know. I feel like I can use it at some point.
No.
Can you use that for spells?
Look,
Do we have to call your dad?
Yeah, I could like lift it up and like levitate it around and I can scare somebody. I don't know. I've got
that would be
ideas.
funny. Yeah.
Can I see?
Sure, yeah. I'll toss it over to you.
And I'll twirl his leg.
I'll just yell out, "Heads up!"
Yeah, Korvac in the crumbled tower, you chuck it out of part of the crumbled roof, and you hear like people outside, they're like, "Ah!" and start running.
Good one, Captain.
That was funny.
Yeah.
What a joke.
I liked that.
You see, Maven, we should buy more of those.